King of Cups is your focus. Some of you are trying to control your emotional state, be in charge of your feelings. Maybe it's been a bit out of whack as of late. This could also definitely be someone who is your focus of the week. And well, I tend to see the King of Cups as a charmer in some way. They're mature about it for sure, but they also do keep their emotions at bay. Now, they're not cold. They're not like aloof or anything like that. They're very available, emotionally available, but they do exhibit that maturity as well, and that appreciation's coming through with this particular king. Like, this energy is very appreciative of you, you of them is what I get. Now, on the general side, we have the King of Coins and the Six of Swords. And the Four of Swords energy as the outcome. There's the plan here to make some sort of move, but it's not happening just yet. The Six of Swords is looking to transition. Some of you, it's possible travel, and it could be travel for work with the King of Coins here. You may have an opportunity overseas or just at a distance to you that you feel like you need to take. This could also represent you being in your energy with the King of Coins, the Earth energy. But what's interesting is that despite the Earth, we have you surrounded by swords. So in some ways, you have a lot on your mind that you need to think about is also coming through. Even more so with the Four of Swords. You may need some sort of break, and this could also represent a week of, for the most part, inactivity. Not too much going on, and not wanting to take care of too much either. Just kind of wanting to relax, wind down, not have any expectations. Now, on the love side, we have the Four of Cups with the Ten of Cups and Death as the outcome card. Not the greatest combination either for love. I don't quite like it. I mean, I don't mind, energy of feeling alone because I quite like being alone myself. So it's not something I see as a negative. But the Four of Cups, when I get this card for myself or other people, usually indicates some sort of dissatisfaction, especially emotionally. It's like things are not quite enough. And in some ways, you might find yourself fantasizing about what could be or what you want. Because right now, what's being presented to you are not things that you really want at all. You don't appreciate it, and you want something else that's just more emotionally fulfilling with the Ten of Cups here. So it doesn't necessarily indicate that you won't be meeting anyone this week, but if you do, it feels like they're not going to be lighting any fires for you, not going to be doing anything for you really, and you're going to kind of just hope that maybe someone else will come along. And maybe, if you have that experience, if you have that date or two and it doesn't turn out, which is kind of what's indicated in the cards, that it won't turn out all that great, that you may just, take a step back and wait for another week or so before you try again. If you are in a relationship, it's not coming across that you're emotionally satisfied with that relationship. Four of Cups, you want something else from your partner, or you want something, again, more emotionally fulfilling, whether it's to build a family or to just feel more loved here. It's not coming across as you feeling that way from a partner. And Death is being considered. Death is an ending. Death could also be, I've gotten death as endings more so than anything else, but I've also gotten it as like nothing happening, So it could be that this is a week where you don't hear from a partner and they're too busy or something like that. And so there's not a lot going on in love and you are by yourself and you're unhappy being by yourself. Maybe you want to spend it with them and you can't. Could be vice versa. Maybe they want to spend it with you and you don't want to, you're not really enjoying their company right now. So you're just like, I'm okay with myself. Always a possibility. King of Cups. The Ace of Cups. Well, this guy has something to express here. We've got the possibility of new emotions. This could definitely be tied to love. Now, this could be, again, something that you're thinking about because a love life is indicating a new romance into the picture. You might want someone who's very emotionally available, and that could be what's heavily on your mind. And the King of Cups could also represent you, as I've already said, where you just have emotions that are coming to the surface. You're trying to control them, but there's this desire to be around things, people that you have strong emotions for, and the need to express as well is coming through. general. Strength. Strength to me can be a passive energy. And it's showing up as, there's this need to really not get involved and to kind of play it cool. And that's on both sides. It's like to play it cool, just play it safe and not invest too much energy. And I think that there's an energy here with strength and the Four of Swords of being patient as well. And that's the part that requires strength, having to wait. What do you see when it comes to love? Love. Six of Wands. That's interesting. Let me get another card for that before I say anything. Okay, that makes a little more sense. All right, so what I was going to say with the Six of Wands on its own was that there's a realization on your part regarding what you want. So you're very certain. The Six of Wands has this sort of confirmation, confident energy about it. So I don't necessarily think, oh my God, you're going to get what you, not to be negative, that you're getting someone that you want. I don't feel like there's necessarily anyone that you may have your eyes on right now, but rather this realization of yours, you're getting that confirmation about your feelings. And oh, that's interesting. I thought this was a hangman. It's actually the World. And you want things to change. I feel like with this World here, the World does represent change. It's like a shift from the way things used to be to something completely different. And it almost always tends to be some sort of positive shift for you, or that is more so a desire, and even more so with death, because death is also an ending. The World can be its own ending. And so I think you know that you want things to change drastically. Now, if you're with a partner, I don't think you've communicated that yet. Maybe it's on your mind to communicate that. And if you're not with a partner, you're realizing what you want in a partner. So it's easier for you to not waste anyone's time. Or for them to waste your time. So, all right, let's see. Four of Swords. And there's the Hangman. I was waiting for this card to show up. Four of Swords. Strength, Hangman. Pause. You got to take some sort of break. You got to think about something heavily, or you just want a time out. Maybe you don't want to think at all. And you want that sort of break that these cards will take without, again, feeling bogged down by anything, any person, or any situation or responsibilities. So your focus card is the Ten of Pentacles, and I feel like your mind could be on family, could be on money, on commitments. This is also feeling a richness this week in yourself and your accomplishments. Maybe you do something major and it leads you to something good. Now, that could come with extra money, doesn't have to. It could just make you feel like you're at the top of your game and you've reached where you wanted to reach. And that could be as simple as, for instance, a project that you were working on and it's done. And it ended better than you can imagine. You're under budget, you've gotten more than what you've expected, and so on. That's the type of energy I see in the Ten of Pentacles. Otherwise, as I said, there's a focus on money and it's good. You feel, again, like you're in this position of power and success. Now, on the general side, we have the King of Wands and the Six of Chalices with the Chariot here. There could be a situation that's coming back into your life. It could, of course, involve a person because the King of Wands is next to the Six of Cups, the card associated with the past. Now, in some cases, it could actually be a person coming back into your world, and there is a reconnection. It's sweet, it's nice. There may even be passionate chemistry there for those of you where it's like a romantic connection that could be coming through. But for some, it could also be, with the Six of Cups, this feeling that you haven't had in a long time. And you're like, wow, I don't remember feeling this way since 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and so on. But it's good. It's a good feeling because these cards are nice. Now, the Chariot does bring a little bit of complication, not negativity. It's just The Chariot for me is more often than not, you move forward. Momentum is there, especially with the fire energy of the King of Wands. And that could be someone who's pushing you or is just involved with you this week in particular, and maybe you even feed off their energy, as the King of Wands is very active. Now, anyway, the Chariot, as I said, movement forward, you're going where you're going, you have those goals, and you're not looking back. But Chariot also can be something that just drives you a little crazy in some ways, because while you're being pushed forward, it's like someone dragging you to the right, someone dragging you to the left. You got all these people that want your attention, or as you move ahead, you've got to address this thing and address that thing. And so there is some aspect of the Chariot that brings just an overall busyness to this week where you're trying to keep up. And I sometimes find the Chariot quite fun, especially because I like being busy. I like having things to do. And I feel like the Chariot is not going to give you much downtime this week regardless. Now, there's a possibility that someone, because the Six of Cups is here, that this King of Wands is coming to see you. And maybe they're coming by car, or they're coming quickly, and maybe they're like texting you or calling you and saying, I'm going to be in the neighborhood, I would like to meet up. And you're open to the possibility. And so they come rather quickly because the Chariot is pretty fast energy, and that's representing, you know, just the more than likely the energy that you have with them. So I feel like if they do come and see you, if that's a possibility for you, then there's a lot of activity between the two of you. Doesn't have to be romantic or anything like that, but it can be. Now, if we take a look at love, we got the Star, the Eight of Swords, and the Devil card here. This is passion here, and it kind of goes back to the general side with that King of Wands. Passion's what he brings, and chemistry as well. There's like an attractive energy to him for the most part. Now, this Devil card, there's like pain and pleasure, and they go hand in hand. And it's like, man, this shit hurts, but damn, it's addictive just the same. So there's a possibility that you could encounter someone, especially if you're not anywhere close to being with someone, if you're single, if you're super single, whatever that means, then there's a possibility that you could establish a connection this week that is just very dynamic. And it doesn't necessarily mean that, oh, you're gonna have like fantastic sex with them and whatever this week in particular, because the cards around it are a little bit mental and hopeful. Star doesn't always promise anything, but Star indicates for me that there is this hope, there's this fantasy that something is there and within reach, and you hope that it comes your way. And in some cases, this has also often come back to me as just like the internet stuff. I get the electricity and the web and that association. So a person could be at a distance, and at that distance, you could be establishing a very, very strong connection where you just like, I can't wait to meet them. I can't wait to be around them in person, because while not being in the physical, the attraction is already off the charts. Like if you're sending pictures back and forth, things like that. Now, there's also the possibility that with the Eight of Swords here, that the Eight of Swords could be adding the element of the butterfly anxieties, because maybe you are going to meet someone and you're stressing out like crazy, and then it turns out to be an enormously sexual, can't take your hands off each other connection. That's a possibility for some. For others, you're nervous because maybe you haven't been engaged with someone in a long time, and so the thought of doing it again is like exciting, but you're afraid at the same time. I don't see this Eight of Swords as you're like mentally stuck. I don't see this Eight of Swords as being mentally stuck at all. There's also the possibility, because this card represents someone who's actually sick and in bed, that maybe you're worrying yourself sick, and it's making you a little crazy. And some of you may have already established this connection and looking forward to revisiting it with someone, and it's just playing in your mind over and over again. With the Ten of Pentacles as the center, I feel like that's kind of like the glue that brings the energy together as overwhelmingly positive, because you're feeling like a rock, you're feeling stability in your world this week. So let's get a clarification card for the general side. And as I warn, I'm shuffling extra slow. This is why I'm, again, cutting to the camera, cutting to the cards without shuffling, which is what I wrote in my pinned comment. Okay, we have the Five of Wands here. Let me get one for the Ten of Pentacles. I'll take here. Oh, it's a good friend, the King of Rods. Okay. All right, this one actually, oh, 2 cards that didn't come with me. Look, another friend. We've seen this one already. Okay. Let's get one for the love. Okay. Let's get this one too. Okay. All right, so on the general side, we have this Five of Wands. I feel like adds to the complication of the Chariot, where in some ways it's like being of 2 minds. You got the white horse, you got the black horse, and while you're moving forward, you may be, you know, like 1 minute saying, maybe I should go that way, or I should go this way. And I think that there is some sort of internal complications that you may be dealing with that's causing a little bit of chaos. And I don't feel like it's arguments that you're having with people or actual outward issues, but rather I think it's internal stuff that's maybe confusing you along the way. And this could also represent the fact that, again, I said the Chariot is quite busy, and this is just having a lot to handle. And it could represent as well that this person coming through, they bring a lot into your world where you've got no time for yourself. You're doing a lot of activities together. And maybe they're even introducing you or bringing you around other people. All right, so let's see. These 2 cards, I mean, I don't really associate this with the center, but these kind of just stay behind. And so there's that, again, reconnection, feeling something again. But there's a Four of Cups, which kind of points to, in some ways, it's reminiscing about the past. It's missing the past. And I think it's wanting it again. Now, you may also be thinking, if the past is coming to you, you're second guessing it. And that could come back to some of you having that story where you're of 2 minds with the situation, especially if you're dealing with the reconciliation and you don't 100% know if you want to like get re-involved with this person, whether they're a friend, family, or lover, for instance. You can find yourself being distant here, or at least needing more time to think about it. Let me get one. Why the Four of Cups? God, this reads to me with the Empress here, like wanting to feel good and appreciated again, wanting to feel just devoured in some way, especially if the love is your main concern, or outside of love, just in general, wanting to feel like you have everything in control and wanting the best for yourself and nothing less. Now, as I've showed you before, King of Rods came again, so this figure is very important. I don't feel like this is you. Maybe for some, but I don't feel like it's you. I feel like this is someone who just brings something interesting into your life. Not that your life isn't interesting already, but they bring something more interesting and you like their energy. And I feel like they already have ties to you, of course, because the Six of Chalices, and now they're connected to this strong foundational card. So that could be connecting them through work, an old co-worker, someone who is a long-time family friend, or just your friend in general, or that you have roots with that goes many years, like decade, with the 10 there. Let me see. Can you show me one for the King of Rods? Oh, okay. King of Rods is showing up as a lover more than anything else. And this is a very visually, sexual, they're attracted to each other card. But I'm going to say, if you're adamant that, love is not your thing, and it could apply in the sense that there is a passion that you share with someone Maybe you're working with them again to establish something further, and it works out really well, considering, again, the 10 is a very strong card. Okay, so let's look at love. And we have the Hangman, which kind of goes with that energy of not necessarily that something is happening this week, but the intention is there, the thought about this passionate connection is there, or at least being involved with someone where you have this chemistry. Maybe this is what you want. This is your desire here. And you could be hung up on having that. And it's like, if someone doesn't check that box next, you know, whatever, that's what you need. And that's what you're interested in for the time being. It's interesting. The Six of Swords makes me think there's a possibility of being unable to move on from a connection that you're thinking about quite a bit, or that you're hoping works out, just because of the Hangman. There could be someone or some sort of like strong connection that's preventing you from, let's see, one for the Six of Swords. Well, you know, I had another thought. For those of you where you do have a long distance connection, maybe you know it's actually gotten quite heated in the passionate sense online, text, phones, whatever, but nothing in person yet. And you are just like waiting for this person to come and see you, or you see them, and you just like you basically can't wait. And your patience is running thin. That could be why the Eight of Swords is here. The Star is another card where it's just like, come on already, I want this so much. And the Devil, as we know, there's that, you know, intention. So you could be waiting for something, and just having to have that patience for it is rough. And if it's not a long distance thing, it could be that, you know, you want to meet someone where you have this connection, this strong sexual connection. And if it hasn't happened yet, it's like, it's bothering you a bit to not have that yet. Hopefully you get it if that is your desire.